Why is it that we see video game companies make record profit? We see people like Bobby Kotick from Blizzard leave the company with a $400 million payout. Why is it that that's true? But also, video game companies and game publishers are laying off massive numbers of people. It's because they're greedy and because the live service model right now is making them a lot of money. Like, I don't think people realize how much live service is making them, but they also don't want to pay developers that much, and so they're just firing them. And I think it's kind of sad because people have bought the live service bullshit, and I just want to talk about a certain responses I've seen to my video on Helldivers 2's monetization here. I made a video on Helldivers 2's monetization. I like Helldivers 2, apart from the numerous bugs and network errors that I still get sometimes. It's a very good game, and it's very obvious that passion was put into this game. And I think the microtransactions were kind of pushed on by the publishers. I think Sony went, "Hey," PlayStation went, "Hey, you need to put microtransactions and make this game live service." Um, but basically, my whole thing in the video was I paid $40 for a game. I absolutely do not mind if there's DLC for cosmetics, microtransactions for cosmetics, but the microtransactions really impact the gameplay. And to illustrate how much they impact the gameplay, one of the weapons in the battle pass is the Breaker Incendiary. It's an incendiary shotgun. And if you don't know, in Hellbreakers 2, there's like, as you go up in difficulty, there's armored enemies, very armored enemies. And what this shotgun does, it's like I think one of the only weapons in the game where you can just shoot at an armored enemy and the bullets won't penetrate its armor, but the fire will. So what that means is like with armored enemies, you need to get behind them, find the weak spot, and like shoot it very precisely. With this gun, you just point and shoot. Like it's a very, I think I haven't seen anyone brought this up, but I think it's a very, very, very OP weapon that's gonna get patched soon. But like it's in the premium battle pass, so you could call it pay to win if the super credits you couldn't come across them by playing. But I see a lot of people like the main thing in like the hate comments I'm getting is people saying like you don't know what you're talking about. You can get super credits for free, which is the premium currency. That's the bare minimum. You're paying $40 for a game. Of course, you're gonna get the premium currency for free. Like this isn't Fortnite. It's not free to play. It's not like any other free to play game. You paid for the game. But I think a comment that really illustrates why these people bring this up is someone who said, "Oh, you wouldn't expect to pay your barber and then get a haircut over and over again. That's what the microtransactions are for, you know." And I think that's very telling. Let me bring down. I'm way too bright, I think. I think that's very telling. I think this person like really bought onto the live service thing, as in a game is a service, and the $40 you pay for Help Divers 2 is just a formality. It's just like the ticket you pay for a ride, but then you need to continue to pay to continue that ride, basically. Um, Putting out updates is how games have always functioned. And I mean, like, the best thing, like, the best counter example is DRG. Like, DRG, you pay $30, there's $100 worth of cosmetics that you can buy if you want to support the developers, and that's it. But you're not going to pay to unlock gameplay features like certain weapons and armors, which changes the game, the way that you play, because they really actually do. In DRG, you just unlock cosmetics. And here, this person is like, "Well, I bought the game, but like, how can I be expected to just like keep playing it because I have it then? You know, I have to continue paying." Like, fuck no, you don't. You don't. You don't. And if the developers wanted us to support them, they could put out cosmetics that you can buy if you want to continue supporting them with money. They wouldn't paywall like weapons and armors because that's creating FOMO, and that's exactly what the developers said they wanted to avoid. Like I'm already feeling the FOMO of this game because like the grind is starting to like rear its head. But anyways, like microtransactions used to be the bad guy. And that's why, like, the hate comments I'm getting, I'm fully convinced they're like, no offense, I'm fully convinced they're like 14-year-olds, or at least like, I'm 24, they can't be older than 25. Like, I'm a kid, but like, they cannot be older than 25 or 20. Because like, I remember a time when like games were games, you know what I mean? And a multiplayer game that's put out, it would put out updates because that's what multiplayer games did. And they cost a certain amount, and then that's it. The difference, like, people think that like games didn't used to exist, you know, like games with updates didn't used to exist, and they just started existing because of live service. But what happened was companies realized they could scam a lot more people, and I mean scam, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. They could scam a lot more people by saying like, hey, this is a service, not a good, you know? And if you just pay us more money, we'll put out more content. But all that means is that they release games with like a lot less content, a lot less things to do in the game, and they just put out things that used to be in games, like in Modern Warfare, like the game. I know they've released DLC or a battle pass with modes that used to be in the game that they took out. So they're not putting any more effort in. They're just taking effort out that was already put in the game. And why I say they're scams is because, as we saw, live service fucking doesn't work. Like, it was the Avengers game that shut down. Like, it doesn't work as like a concept for games to exist in. Live service games is like live. Well, basically, to wrap this up, like, live service is just a way of masquerading games as something you need to continue to pay for and that you don't own. You don't own a service. Like that comment said, you don't own the barber that you pay money to cut your hair. Except you do own games, or you should own games. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, no, it exists on the server. Yeah, and you don't own your copy of Battlefront 3, you know what I mean? Like, you don't own your copy of Call of Duty 3. You don't own your copy of Call of Duty Black Ops, like not the new one, the old one. Yes, you do. You consider that you own it. Like, you consider that you own a game that you can play on your console. It's like if I buy a guitar, I'm not gonna want to pay more money to continue to pluck on the strings, you know, like, oh, you can pluck on the first four strings, but like the fifth string, that's, you need to pay money. You need to play the guitar to unlock a currency to then be able to buy something that, if you play more once you bought that premium thing, will maybe grant you the right to play that fifth string. No, that's fucking ridiculous. What the fuck? No. You know, like that concept of like the family heirloom, like a fucking like a ring passed down from generation to generation. Yeah, that's because like this is a good. When I buy this, it's a good. I buy it and then it's mine. You know what I mean? Now they're doing the whole life service thing for single player games, like Marvel's Avengers. Like, that was a single player game, I'm pretty sure, and it's live service, so it's shut down because it's always online. So like, you pay money, but that's why I mean they're scams. I don't think I said it, but it's because those things don't work, and the servers end up shutting down, and then you lose what you paid for, and you don't get a refund. So, anyways, one thing was, you can get the super credits for free, which obviously, but the devs are not going to be incentivized to let you earn them. One other thing was, it's not pay to win. I said in the video, I didn't say in the video it's pay to win. I said I'm not okay with the fact that the developers put certain gameplay things behind a paywall. And yes, you can get the super credits for free, but I don't want to treat this as my full-time job. And also, as well, it does impact how you play because of certain OP weapons, as I've said. And also, the way that you grind super credits is not fun, and it actually takes away from the game, because you can grind super credits, but it takes away from the meta of the game, which is like an intergalactic, a galactic war with robots and bugs that you're fighting. And the way that you farm the super credits is by like quickly going to an area's objectives and then quitting the mission, which actually makes you lose the war. So it's just like the game is made worse with microtransactions. Another person said, "Well, I unlocked it for free, and so I earned it." And actually, that brings up a good point. If there were no microtransactions, I would have zero problems with this progression system. You know, I'm a big fan of like in this game, this Star Wars MMO. There was a thing where you could unlock the Jedi class by just playing the game a bunch, and more than that, like finding an area in the game where you could do a secret quest where you could unlock the class. And so when people had this class, it was like an achievement, you know. And it could be that like um, with no microtransactions, like the things like the Breaker Incendiary would be like a normal progression system. Then the battle pass is a normal progression system, and it's like, oh, this person played the game a bunch and now they have a cool weapon. But instead, no, it's like, oh, the devs made it very inconvenient to get this currency, and so either this person played a bunch or they just paid $10. Like it means absolutely nothing, you know. It means nothing, and like I'm glad this person played and feel like they earned that weapon, but it's like the problem is like I'm like I know the developers said that it's they wanted to avoid FOMO. I'm feeling the FOMO. I'm like I'm not gonna unlock this weapon even though I want it, and like the barrier is paying money right now, and especially with the fact that they're putting so many battle passes, they're gonna put like one every month. It's like you're not gonna have enough time to play the game, earn medals, spend medals. Like it's a mess. What was another so it was this like the game is a service you wouldn't expect to as if like paying $40 for the game is not enough. Like you wouldn't expect your barber to cut your hair twice. um, Super credits can be earned for free. I got enough super credits. I'm sorry, after 30 hours I still don't have enough to buy the battle pass, so that's that. Let me pause for a second. Well, yeah, and yeah, I just want to remind you, microtransactions used to be ridiculed in paid games. Like it used to be, I don't remember what it was. I remember Battlefront 2 got a lot of shit, but it used to be that microtransactions were looked down upon, and now we're at a point where, oh yeah, a lot of people are saying, well, it's not that bad. So like, if you're talking about Diablo 4 or other games, then sure, but it's not that bad here. And I say multiple times in the video, just because some games do it worse, doesn't mean it's not bad here. And that's what I mean. Like, people are so used to predatory monetization practices, and they bought the idea that the games are a service that they need to keep paying for, when like again like the companies are making record profit but they're firing devs because they just want more money. Like those executives want to be able to bring home more bonuses. Like if that doesn't make sense, just look up how much people are being laid off in video game companies and look up how much money that company is making. Microsoft is laying off workers, Blizzard is laying off workers. They do not need to be laying off workers. They're making fucking so much money, okay? And so the idea that you need to keep paying for a game when like you absolutely don't. Like Helldivers 2's devs are loaded. Like I don't know why people protect microtransactions with their lives. And again, like I don't think you can be older than even 18 and defend this shit, because like that's some bootlicking. Like you're bootlicking a rich executives. You're not supporting the devs. Like I'm like the devs might be making money, but I'm willing to bet like more money is going towards the publisher PlayStation than the devs. Supporting microtransactions is not helping anyone. It's the only bad side of Helldivers 2, which is an amazing game. And please, might not have done a good job of refuting the counter arguments, but games are goods. And paying $40 for a game only to then earn the right to pay to play 50 hours, or maybe less for you, maybe it was 20 or 30, but to play dozens of hours, to earn the right to play dozens of hours, to then earn the right to buy a premium battle pass, which only earns you the right of maybe unlocking things later on. Like, I paid $40 for this game, man. Like, why not ditch the microtransactions and have a normal progression system and then have cool cosmetics that you can buy with real money? You know what I mean? Why not have cosmetics you can buy with real money? Have $100 worth of cosmetics you can buy with real money. Just don't put weapons behind the premium battle pass. Like, that's a gameplay feature. I'm I'm going in circle. Live service won. Live service has won. Like, that's it. All right, see ya.